Welcome to Get Your Bell Rung, a Pro Wrestling podcast. I am your host, KG. Tonight, we'll be doing the recap. Saturday main event, this December 13th episode. Before we get there, joining me tonight is my co-host, the man who is co-host of Rasslin Memories. Of course, I'm talking about Michael McCurdy, the Grizzled Vet. Lots to talk about, man. What's going on?
Not much, man. Not much. Just got done watching a pretty decent show. So, I think you and I will have some things to talk about, some points to discuss,
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. The one part of the show that kind of rubbed me the wrong way the most was some of the fans' reactions. I'm just being honest with you. I mean, I understand, we'll get to it, that it ended in a shocking way. But just the chance of, this is bullshit. I wrestling fans really piss me off sometimes. They really,
well, yeah.
They can be some of the most disrespectful fucking assholes on this planet, and we'll get to that. The show opened up with a special video package honoring John Cena's legendary career, highlights and fan reactions. And look, this was a star-studded show. We had Shawn Michaels, Trish Stratus, Kurt Angle, Mark Henry on there, and a bunch of other professional wrestling stars. Bravo to them for showing up, for Cena's last match.
Yeah, Rob Van Dam was there.
Yeah.
Haku just showing up everywhere, though. He's just there.
He is, man. He looks great, though. I mean, he does. For his age. Look, I'll be honest with you. Even at his age, and I'm not a guy that will back down from a fight, but I'm telling you, even at Haku's age, if he was angry at me in an alleyway, I would scream, running away like a little girl. I can say that 100%.
I wouldn't even get into a fight with the man. I'd be like, no, I'm walking. And you gotta love it. Because this cracked me up because they're showing everybody in the crowd. There's Trish Stratus, there's this. Okay, Eve Torres, yes. WWE legend.
Yes.
Where my son was perfect. They showed her and it said WWE legend. My son goes, "Who's that?" I'm like,
right. What's funny is even though my wife is not a professional wrestling fan, she knows the majority of them for being married to me, and she watches it. When it's on TV, and she was even like, "Who's that?"
Yeah.
Do you think that she's going to get inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Eve Torres?
Mm-hmm.
For what?
What
did she do? Well, for that matter, what did Stacy Keibler and Tori Wilson do? But
what did Michelle McCool? What did Michelle McCool do besides marry
the Undertaker?
Which, by the way, Undertaker.
She married the Undertaker.
Yeah, and by chance, I know it's very, very slim. But if the Undertaker does hear this podcast and hear me saying this, sir, it was all the Grizzled Vet. He put me up to saying this. I think she's done wonderful in the wrestling career. She deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Shit, maybe getting hate mail from Eve Torres and the Undertaker, and the Undertaker was there, but he was backstage.
Yeah.
Guaranteed he was there, but he was backstage. Because why would Michelle be there if he wasn't?
Right.
Right. He was there,
right?
But he stayed in the back with Trips and Shawn Michaels and.
Yeah. Let's get into it, man. Match number 1, we had Cody Rhodes, who is the undisputed WWE champion, going against Obafemi, the NXT champion. Man, look, Cody Rhodes is getting his ass kicked in this match. And I didn't hate the way they ended it, though. I didn't mind there being interference for Drew McIntyre because this was a great way to both protect Femi and Corey from taking a pin. Now, look, if Cody Rhodes would have lost this, could he afford a loss being beat by a guy like Obafemi? Absolutely, I think so. Could Obafemi get past the loss if Cody Rhodes would beat him? Well, definitely, absolutely, because, he got beat by the world champion that's on the main roster. It wouldn't have hurt his career. But I still like the fact that they protected both these guys. and didn't have any of them get pinned. What is your thoughts on the match and the ending of the match? Would you have preferred to see a clear-cut winner?
I'm going to say it right off the bat. Of the 4 matches on this card, this is going to be the bottom of the roster for me. This was by far the match itself was decent. I love seeing Oba get his shot to show what he can do. That was cool. That was good. I hate the ending, and the ending ruined the entire match for me.
Really?
They didn't. This was supposed to be the NXT stars versus the current roster.
Right.
We didn't need interference. We didn't need interference in a match. They didn't need to do the Drew storyline on this show. They should have saved that for next week on SmackDown.
Yeah, I can understand that.
The fact they interjected him in it,
right?
The crowd didn't like it.
I can understand that, but I like not seeing Oba Femi get pinned right now. Now, you saying that this was the bottom for you as far as matches go, that's crazy because there was a couple of ones actually for me, and we'll get to it.
I'm saying it's bottom because of that ending.
Right.
The match was okay up until that. Drew could have come in outsider, did some interference, and cost Cody the match.
Yeah.
Okay. Oba Femi got the win, but so a little iffy. I didn't like the disqualification. I did not like the disqualification ending.
I'll be honest with you. For a moment there, I was like, "Holy shit! Are they going to put Oba over?" Because it looked that way. I mean, he was put in a very strong position with a lot of offense against Cody Rhodes, and it seemed to be a hard-hitting match too. We seen color in this match. It wasn't meant to be color in the match. Something happened with Cody Rhodes' ear. He must have hit something on on the commentary table.
Yes, and that could have led to the final, the finish real quick. So because it seemed to wrap up shortly after Blood showed up.
Yep. Next, we go to the women's singles match: Bayley versus Sol Ruca. Look, I'm going to be completely honest with you, man. Sol Ruca completely outshined Bayley, in my opinion, in this match, like by a lot. Sol Ruca, I mean, some of the things she was doing was absolutely incredible. There was one small little, it seemed like a botch, but this is the thing, and this is when you have two professionals facing each other in the ring. Whatever move Sol Ruca was trying to do on Bayley, it got messed up, but right away, Sol Ruca was able to kind of wrap Bayley up for a 2 count, right? So they were able to recover real quick without it looking like it messed up the entire match or threw them off, right? And for me, when you see something like that, that shows how professional, how good these women are whenever someone can recover like that.
No, this was a good match. I had no issue with the winner, and you're right, Sol was the star of this one. But unlike what you and Robbie had to say on a show a couple of weeks ago, I think Bayley was able to keep up with her, for the most part. She made her look good. She didn't. It wasn't you guys made it sound like Bayley's not in the same level.
I don't think she is.
Bayley held her own. I think Bayley held her own in this one. Sol was definitely the star though.
Yeah, I think that Sol Ruca is the one that made Bayley look even as good as she did tonight.
One spot in the match that I didn't like, that was about it, and this is where it showed that Bayley is a step behind, was the Soul Snatcher, the finisher. Yeah. Bayley was not in position for that.
Right.
You see her lunge forward at the last second. She bumped for it, but she had to kind of like lurch forward real fast to get into position. She was not in the right spot for it. And camera caught that 100%. So Bayley was a good opponent. I think the match went well. I think she was a good opponent. I don't think there's anybody. I think it was the perfect matchup for Sol, and it was the veteran versus the up and comer, which is what the whole idea was supposed to be for this show.
Right.
But that finished spot right there, kind of because it was obvious and it was caught on camera. She lurches forward towards the end to get into position for that Soul Step. Which is an amazing move, by the way. I don't know how.
I love that move. And look, don't get me wrong. in no way, shape, or form am I saying that this match was bad because of Bailey. It was a good match. I mean, this match, honestly, this was one of the matches that I didn't think I would get into because of Bailey.
This is the one I was looking forward to.
I paid attention to this match because it was good. But again, I think I enjoyed it the way I enjoyed it because of Sol Ruca, not because of Bailey. But that's just personal choice.
Yeah, I'm a Sol Ruca, and my son. I'll tell you this: I got to watch the entire show with my son, so
yeah,
I can throw in comments from him about this all night long, and he loves Sol Ruca. He was waiting for Soul Snatcher like all night long. That's what he was waiting for. He loves Soul.
Yeah, my buddy Terry Zeller, he said the match was an 8.5. I can go with that. Yeah, I go with that. The third match, and this is the match that you're going to probably disagree with me all day long.
Okay.
It was the World Tag Team Champions AJ Styles, Dragon Lee versus Javon Evans and Leon Slater. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. Okay. Last night, Robbie and I did the podcast Friday Night SmackDown, and I'm not sure if you watched it, but this is what I said last night about Javon Evans.
Okay.
Thus far, every time Javon Evans has been brought up to the main roster, he has not performed at the level that I've seen him perform on NXT. And I stand by that. Tonight, he's a little bit better, but the same thing. Javon Evans, I am starting to become not a fan of his because there's something. I'll be honest. I don't know if it's himself or his character, but the way he comes out, in the entrance, just everything he does, it aggravates the fuck out of me. It really does. He's aggravating. I think Javon Evans is great at NXT. But when he is taken out of NXT, when he is taken out of his comfort zone, I don't think he's performing at the same level. I don't know if it's because he is so used to working with the guys he's familiar with in NXT, and you put him in a situation that he may know AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, but he's not as comfortable working with them like he does the people he works with on NXT. But this match was probably my least favorite match of the night. And before I'll give you opportunity, I do want to say I am so thankful AJ Styles is okay, because that was a very rare mistake you see AJ Styles ever make, because yes, AJ Styles is that good that he doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes. And when he fell off the ropes the way he did, I was like, oof, my heart stopped for a second. I'm glad he got up and he seemed to be okay. Go ahead, Grizzle.
Yeah, see, here's where it gets kind of funny. I was watching with my son. I had actually, they were going for the Phenomenal Forearm. My daughter was sitting on the other side. She said something to me. I looked over her and I said, "Oh, what'd you need?" And I looked back and he was on the mat. So I actually missed what happened. And obviously they haven't shown a replay.
Right.
So I don't even, did he just miss the forearm? Did he fall off?
No, I think it seemed like he slipped off the ropes. Look.
Okay.
As basic as that move may seem in today's professional wrestling, that's an incredibly dangerous move because of the fact that, I don't know if fans realize this or not, but throughout the match, you're having bodies being thrown onto the ropes, being dragged on the ropes, and sweat is getting on these ropes, right? And it makes it very slippery. I can only imagine how slippery these ropes get. And then on top of it, when you are jumping on top of it to kind of get a spring to bounce off to do that forearm, that's a dangerous move in fact. And it's dangerous for the person performing it. It's dangerous for AJ Styles. AJ Styles has mastered that, right? But accidents do happen. I have to imagine that's exactly what happened. It was probably slippery, and his boot slipped on it, and he literally took a nasty fall to the point that I thought that this match was going to be stopped because he was injured. And I was so relieved that he wasn't injured. Because look, as much as I like professional wrestling, I love to see things happen that there's blood. I don't want to see these guys injured at all whatsoever.
Oh, no, we don't want to see him get hurt.
Right. So yeah, I was so relieved that he was
Okay.
okay.
And see, what happened to me just goes to show you what we're talking about, how fast things can happen. I literally went, what was that? And turned back, and I missed that quick.
Right.
I didn't even, 10 seconds I looked away. Then I turned around, I'm going, what happened? And my son's like, he fell off the rope. What? Oh, okay. And they obviously, like I said, they're not going to show a replay. Match wise, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I'm going to agree with you on somewhat, though. Javon Evans, main roster, is a little hesitant than he is in NXT. I think what you said is right. It's a comfort zone thing. Right. I think that's who he's used to working with. Is that going to change? Yes, because this kid is too goddamn talented not to evolve to the point where he'll be able to work with anybody. So, yeah. I enjoyed this match, though, because I think the shit that him and Leon Slater can do is just crazy. And how they haven't, like, broke their neck or a leg or doing some of their shit, I don't know. So I enjoyed this match. I actually thought we were going to get new champions at a point, but Dragon Lee got in her last second to break. I thought we were getting new champs. I seriously did, but they're talented. Him and Leon Slater, these are guys you're going to see, and this is what Cena was talking about: a chance for the up and comers to shine. Right. I would say out of everybody, out of Oba, Saul, and then they probably shined the most, getting to demonstrate what they can do. And that's because they're working with AJ Styles and Dragon. Saul got to show what she can do, but we already said Bayley was a little slower, so Saul couldn't do her best. I think Javon Evans did the best they could, but like you said, they're hesitant. So I agree with what you said about Javon Evans, but I still think this is a really good match.
Yeah, Zeller, he gave it a 7. I would have given it about a 6.5. Like I said, this was my least favorite match. But nonetheless, I agree with you that they're both very, very talented. I think that as they perform more on the main roster, once they get brought up to the main roster, I think they will get better. But there's something about Javon Evans within that character that just gets under my skin a little bit for whatever reason. But that's not taken away from his ability. Like I said, I just don't think that right now he's performing to his best ability the way he does on NXT. It's almost like I'm watching two different people, to be honest with you. NXT versus main roster Javon Evans. And I do agree, though. I think that once he gets more comfortable, the more he's on the main roster, then the more I'm going to see that type of performance that I'm expecting to see out of Javon Evans.
And another thing, got to look at it. I'm pretty sure Javon Evans is not used to working in front of 17,000 people. I don't care who you are. When you're on that stage that first time, that's going to make you nervous. He's probably never worked a crowd. I can't think of a show he's been on that would have a crowd that size yet.
Yeah.
No NXT event has 17,000 people.
Right. Yeah. Well, hasn't some of their PLEs?
I don't think the PLEs have gotten that large because they play smaller buildings, or their PLEs are in like the Full Sail or the performance, so they don't always get here, and their TV is in smaller arenas too. So I could be wrong. If I am wrong, somebody want to correct me, great. I don't think Javon Evans has probably worked the crowd that large, and that's going to be a factor too.
Right. Next, I thought next would be the main event.
I love.
And then Stephanie McMahon was talking, and she went to say the word awesome, but she was interrupted with a much deeper pitched awesome, and it was a Mrs. Awesome. And he was talking about how he should have been involved because he has absolutely been a character in the career of John Cena. Matter of fact, he beat him WrestleMania wearing the exact same thing he was wearing. And, some of the crowd was popping a little bit for the Miz when he was talking. And then, of course, we have R-Truth comes out.
Ron Cena.
R-Truth cracked me up when he
Cena.
Yeah, Ron Cena.
That was Ron Cena tonight.
When he started talking about Nick Aldis balls and Miz, fucking with him. And then he said, this is the guy you cheated out of. And then you can see it written through the paper. And I seen it written through the paper. And my head dropped. And I said, fucking why? It was Joe Hendry. Now, I do not like Joe Hendry, even in the smallest capacity. I think that he should have stayed at Home Depot with his orange fucking apron on and did his job there instead of luring tonight's event, because it dropped it down to a level as far as I'm concerned. I do not like Joe Hendry in any way, shape, or form. And I agree with Zeller. Mrs. Segment, A1, just why. Thank you, Zeller. Go ahead, Mr. Joe Hendry.
Boo. And now you have proven the fact, say his name and he appears, and then you talk shit about him so he doesn't show up.
Yeah, good.
Our podcast would have shot through the roof if
you know what? And I am
standing right here.
I am being dead serious. And my wife can tell you the way I am. If you don't believe me, if I got an email saying Joe Hendry want to come on this podcast, you're right. It would probably get us numbers. We would definitely get us numbers we've never seen before. I would say no. I have no interest in interviewing him in any way, shape, or form.
If you ever get that email that he wants to appear on this podcast for an interview, you just do your thing backstage. I'll do the interview with him.
Good enough.
The Grizzled Vet show. Don't you pass that shit up. Oh, by the way, great interview with Angel today. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, she's awesome. And by the way, fans, I'm just full of shit because you know goddamn well, as much as I dislike Joe Hendry, if I got that email, I'd be thinking podcast first, so obviously I'd bring him on. Yeah, but I am just trying to explain. And I wish I could put a finger on why I don't like this guy. Just something about him. Just
because you said you don't like the 80s, you don't like the corny gimmicks, and say his name and he appears. There he is. So as soon as misread Joe Hendry, I'm like, okay, there he is. Okay, because you said his name. Here he comes. Right. I like Joe Hendry. I think, is he a talented wrestler? Okay, he's not one of the top 10. He's not, he's decent, but it's the character. And a lot of times, look at R-Truth. R-Truth, you can't say he's a, 5-star wrestler, but his character gets him over. Joe Hendry's character gets him over because people like to clap and Chucky. They like to do that shit.
Yeah, this is the same, you know what? This is the same fans that likes fucking Mr. Iguana, and that drives me nuts.
Oh my god, I like Mr. Iguana too.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
I'd never seen him until that AAA show there a few months back, and I fell in love with it. But I like the gimmick, stuff like that. For me, sometimes it's fun. You gotta have fun in your wrestling. And I had no problem with this. I had no problem with this segment.
There's ways to have fun without going extra cheesy, man.
Yeah. But see, I like this segment though.
Yeah.
Because it gave Miz a chance to be on the final match show. It gave John Cena, R-Truth. And there's the thing about R-Truth. He gets fired. He comes back. He shaves off. He cuts off his dreads. Says the truth shall set him free. And he's supposed to be this badass Ron Killing. Now he's just back to being R-Truth with no hair.
Right.
They didn't change a damn thing. But it got him on the show. And it got to put the spotlight on a younger guy, Joe Hendry, who got to come in, have some fun, beat the Miz, and call it good. So segment-wise, I think it was fun. It got people. It was kind of the, you had all your matches. This segment happened. Okay, we're going to chill a little bit. Kind of calm down a bit. Okay, this was fun. Okay, now it's time for Gunther and John Cena.
Right.
This was kind of that break, let him have a little laughter, a little fun with it, bring the crowd down a bit to kind of, because, relax a bit, because they want that crowd hot as fuck when, Cena and Gunther come out.
Right. Now, let me correct you. Hendry did not really beat the Miz. This was an unofficial. Okay, let's get this straight. It was unofficial. And the one thing I did appreciate, because I was like, please don't turn this into a 10-minute match. Thank God that didn't happen.
Oh no, that's never going to be a long.
I would have literally texted you and say, let me know when this is over with so I could watch Cena's match, because I would have turned it off my TV.
No, this was never going to be a match.
Right. But next, was the match that 17,000 plus showed up to watch. I can only imagine how many views they had. And yes, there's the Grizzled Vet trying to show us Little John again.
Little John right here, making his final appearance. The last time is now.
Yeah. And talk about John Cena versus Gunther. Gunther came out to a roar of heat.
Dude.
And look, John Cena, when he showed up, my wife, she was like, my God, can you imagine how loud it is in that building right now? I mean, he got this massive, well-deserved pop. He really did.
Oh, they both did.
Go ahead.
They both did. Gunther got the reaction he needed because he had to come in as like the heel.
Right.
And dude, the crowd would just, I wasn't expecting that. That was so loud.
Yeah.
I was so impressed by that. I was like, wow. Because people like Gunther. They don't always boo, but dude, this was against Cena. That crowd was hot. They were pissed. They didn't want to see Gunther. Gunther was the heel. I was like, damn. And if I were Gunther, I'd have been walking down to the ring just,
yeah, well, I tell you, after tonight's finish, and we're about to get into it, Gunther is a made man now as far as being a heel. After the way the show ended, but let's get into it. Look, this match, was it the best wrestling match ever? Absolutely not. It wasn't.
John Cena, duh.
Right, and I have to tell you that I had a smile on my face because the things that John Cena used to do that would get under my skin a little bit, because this was his last match, because it was typical Cena, it did make me smile, which was John Cena does not even try to hide when he's calling the match at all. You can literally watch the man during the whole match calling the match to Gunther. But that's John Cena. So it made me smile. It did, because, again, classic John Cena. And John Cena was such a beloved figure in professional wrestling, not because of his wrestling styles, and not even because of how well he was on the mic, believe it or not. It's because of the character and who John Cena is, both as a professional wrestler and as a person. We're talking about a man who has made over 700 Make-A-Wish visits. I think the person, you may have said this, Grizzled Vet, the person right behind him has only made 300.
Yeah, about 300 in second place. It's the second place.
Second place. I mean, John Cena, he carried the business when I don't think anyone else would have been able to carry the business. We're talking about during the Ruthless Aggression era that went right into the PG era. Without John Cena, I think WWE would have been in trouble. But John Cena was able to carry the company on his back. And he was just beloved. Now, the surprise of the night, I did not see it coming, was him tapping out. Now, I thought at best Gunther may pin him, but even then I'm like, that's John Cena. I think he's going to go out, with his hand raised, but he didn't. There's been, over the years, a lot of people who have screamed and cried and bitched that Cena was selfish, that Cena wouldn't put anybody over. I hope tonight shut all those people up, because you can absolutely 100% guarantee that Cena had a say-so how this match ended. If Cena didn't want to put Gunther over, especially by quitting, it would have never happened. Cena, his final match, tapped out to Gunther, putting Gunther over. And some will argue that Gunther didn't even need to be put over. But I tell you, tonight, John Cena made that man's career as far as him being a heel. I think Gunther's now going to get more heat than ever before. The only thing at the end that I didn't like was Michael Cole saying that Gunther is now going to be known as the guy that's ended people's careers. Shut the fuck up, Michael Cole. This was a retirement match. This wasn't a match that if John Cena lost, then he would be forced to retire. He knew he was retiring. It was the same thing with Goldberg. That shit just aggravates me when Michael Cole continuously says stupid shit like that. Grizzle, your thoughts and everything. And by the way, before you get started, Mr. Zeller says main event a 9. Love the finish.
I'm going to agree with that. I would say a 9, almost a 9.5.
Right.
It was, in my opinion, it was just damn near perfect. You know, Gunther came out. We're going to start from the beginning. Gunther came out, crowd booed, hated him. He got in the ring, stood there, posed. Okay, his music stops. Gunther knew, okay, it's time for me to step out. He's like, I'm going to come over here and take a seat because he knew this was going to be a few minutes. Gunther knows his place. You wait. They didn't just bring out Cena. They made you wait for Cena. It was a good minute or two before his music hit. As soon as the lights went down, you could feel the crowd. Ooh, then the music hits. You see the black screen, but then it goes color, and here comes John Cena. That crowd blew. That if there's a roof on that building, they just had to go put it back.
Literally chills.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing, and you could see it in Cena's face when he walked out. He was just like, "Okay, all right, we're gonna." You know, he had Stu, the cameraman. Then of course he grabbed the camera and did, you know, and he took his time. They gave him the time. He didn't just run to the ring. You know, high five the fans, hugged everybody in the front row because you know you had all the stars there. Rob Van Dam, Kurt Angle, all the people we've mentioned. They were all front row for this. You know, they gave him his spot. But then when the match had to start, there we go. It's business. The match itself, I had no clue. I had no idea who. I could have seen it gone either way. John Cena could win, or Gunther. If Gunther was going to win, though, I knew it had to be a tap out, just to put that, make it that definite. Boom. Couldn't be the powerbomb. It had to be a tap out. You know, match itself was great. I mean, it's what you expect from a John Cena match. You weren't going to get, you know, technical wrestling. You weren't going to get high flying or whatever. You were going to get what we got. And Gunther sold everything. You know, 5 moves of doom. You know, he took the, but you can't. He did it. I mean, Gunther did his part perfect. And the thing with Cena, he did an interview with Chris Van Vliet a couple weeks ago. I just listened to it the other day. And he's talking. And Cena, of course, is in character, you know. And then the final match, and well, we'll see who it is. He knew who it was.
Right.
He's known it's always going to be Gunther. Right. He's had time to work this out with Gunther, and you could see that. They had a chance to talk with her. And this wasn't just a, oh, shit, I'm wrestling Gunther? Oh, my God, I got to get ready in a week. No. But Cena's playing up. Oh, I don't know who it's going to be. Who's it going to be? It was always, I was saying Gunther at the very beginning of this. Who's the last guy? It should be Gunther. It made sense to me, you know. And Gunther going out, getting the win the way he did, it's going to make him that big heel. And he's going to say, I'm the guy who retired John Cena. Right. And no, this was not this wasn't like Ric Flair. If I lose, I'll retire. No. But he's going to say he's the man who retired Cena.
Right. And you know what?
Because that's going to piss him off.
And you know what? Gunther saying that is one thing. He's a heel. I expect that. Mm-hmm. Michael Cole said it, though. Just aggravates me.
Cole's, that's his job to hype. You know, did you see the video that Michael Cole put up? The WWE poster for Michael Cole?
Yep.
You know, that video said it perfect.
Right.
Gordon Soley had Dusty Rhodes. Jim Ross had Stone Cold Steve Austin. Michael Cole had John Cena.
Right.
John Cena made Michael Cole. You know, he called most of his career. John Cena. So this was special for Cole.
Right.
So yeah, he's gonna hype it up. Oh, you retired. You know, he's gonna hype that up because, like you said, John Cena was his Dusty Rhodes. That was his, you know, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Right.
So I agree with it. And the finish of it, you know, they're going back and forth. Like once again, I thought, oh shit, Cena's gonna okay, sleeper. No. And my son sitting next to me the entire time. Now sleeper. I hate sleeper. He kept putting it on. He kept putting it on. But when Cena tapped, my son goes, what was that? What was that? I'm like, that was the perfect ending to John Cena's career. Well, it was basically, okay, guys, I can't beat him.
Right. And the thing about this is why I love that as well. And we all do it on this podcast. A lot of people do it as well. A lot of times we try to predict or we say, yeah, we know what's going to happen. My mouth dropped. I love when I get swerved. I absolutely love when professional wrestling, regardless of AEW, WWE, NWA, doesn't matter who, I love when I get swerved. That's what professional wrestling is about for me, right? And I literally sat up from a recliner and looked at the TV with my mouth opened and looked at my wife I don't know why I looked at my wife. She hates professional wrestling, but nonetheless, I still looked at my wife like, what the fuck just happened here, right? I loved it. Now, another big surprise was Vince McMahon, although he wasn't there, he was part of that video package at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And it surprised me. Now, it makes sense that Vince McMahon should be part of that, obviously. But the way things have been, didn't expect them to have him part of any video package whatsoever. So that was a little surprising. That video package was great, though.
Oh, amazing. All these video packages have been amazing.
Right. You know, what was your reaction to the fans when they started screaming bullshit? Because it aggravated me. And it also aggravated me when they started booing when they seen Triple H. It aggravates me. And I tell you why it aggravates me, because these are the fans who are all crying and screaming that he want Vince McMahon back, knowing goddamn well that if Vince McMahon came back within 6 months, if not less, they'd be screaming once again, he's out of touch. We need someone else. We want Triple H back. Like, what the fuck, man?
Before we talk about fans' reaction with this is bullshit,
sure.
And I agree that was ridiculous. And Peacock tried to cover up, you fuck. It's like, okay, you guys are not getting this. You're not getting this right. But they could chant "this is bullshit" for 2 minutes before they finally start bleeding stuff. The finish though, when Cena kind of, and it was like I said, he looked at the camera and went, "I can't beat him." That's it.
Yep.
Gunther didn't destroy, but Gunther left. Everybody else shook hands, thank you, whatever. No, Gunther just said, okay, I've done my job. Screw all of you. And he left. Now, backstage, Cena and him, he hugged him. There was some joy there, and Gunther did his job. The fans' reaction to that, though, before they started going, this is bullshit, was the...
Oh, yeah, it was silent. You seen
not
kids?
Just silent. People were crying.
Yeah, I was about to say, you see both kids and adults crying. Because I made the comment to my wife and went, shit, kids are crying. And my wife's like, kids, look at the adults crying.
Yeah. There were grown men just... Everybody was crying. I'm like, fucking, pardon my language, fucking amazing.
Right. That's
when
a whole...
You can get a crowd reaction and make the... But then they had to ruin it.
Right.
This is bullshit. This is bullshit. I'm like, oh my God, people... You saw probably one of the best matches, not technical, but just altogether package. Right. You probably saw one of the best matches of this year.
Right.
And that's the whole package, not the wrestling, not
the You were lucky enough to be there live to witness John Cena's last match, and that's what you do. And these are the ones that I call a bunch of basement-dwelling, pizza pocket-eating losers.
Basement-dwelling Cheeto eaters.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, subscribe to the podcast.
Yeah, there you go. We like and subscribe. Thank you. No, their reaction is, but then not only do they do this is bullshit, and that goes for a couple minutes before Peacock goes, okay, we got to cut this. Then they go, thank you, Cena. I'm like, wait. Right. Make up your mind, you whiplash motherfuckers. This is bullshit. Thank you for the bullshit. This doesn't make. And then, they boo Triple H, but that's the thing now because, the shows are going to Saudi Arabia. They're not here in the States now. People are pissed. So now, whenever Triple H shows up, they have to boo him. Okay, folks, Triple H, he's a content officer. He's with WWE. But these decisions of where those shows go, that's all in the hands of TKO. They're going to go, hey, we got this offer. Let's go to Saudi Arabia. And Triple H is going to go, uh-huh. And Nick Khan's going to go, yes, Triple H is not the guy. Let's not forget,
the original deal, the whole thing started was with Vince McMahon, with going there. Yeah. Secondly, WWE's a fucking business. If there's not one person in that audience and not one fan that boos or talks shits about this, that would sit and honestly tell me if they owned a business and they were offered that much money to bring that business to Saudi Arabia or anywhere else, that they wouldn't do it.
Well, yeah. And the thing is, and I'm not a fan of BS, just wanted to see them win. Well, yeah, definitely. But they went from this is bullshit to thank you, Cena. So it confused me. Right. As far as Saudi Arabia thing goes, I don't agree with a lot of it. Like, especially going to WrestleMania, because That's where the money is. That's where the ticket's going to be. We've all heard Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia has already sold out. It is sold out within like hours, you know. And then I also read the ticket prices, like the expensive tickets were only like $300 or $400. So I'm guessing Saudi Arabia money, maybe Saudi Arabia $300 or $400 is a lot of money. Right. I'm not sure conversion rate. I'm not a fan of the Saudi Arabia deal with Mania because they're going to make money. There are fans who will travel to Saudi Arabia. I don't know why. I wouldn't travel to Saudi Arabia to see a show. But I look at the WrestleCons and the indie groups that they promoted shows during WrestleMania weekend in Vegas and here in Texas. I was part of the back in 2016. We were the first with ISWE. We were the first wrestling event of WrestleMania weekend when they were in Dallas. I'm proud to say I was part of a WrestleMania weekend. I was the first event. It's taking it away from them. So that's taking money out of their pockets. I don't agree with that.
But at the same time, what does WWE stand for? World Wrestling.
Oh, I understand. Don't get me wrong. I get it.
Right. And as well, WWE would not be as successful as it was if it wasn't for people as well all over the world. And these fans, especially these younger fans, this is going to be the highlight of their life. A lot of those people over there, these kids. And I think that they deserve to be able to be part of the biggest show in professional wrestling today.
I can see that, but I do also think, like I said, it's taking money out of a lot of people's pockets. Because I don't think maybe they're going to have a WrestleMania week in Saudi Arabia. They might have a convention. I'd hate to see the cost of the money to bring people over for that.
I thought it was only Royal Rumble that was going there. I haven't heard about WrestleMania going there.
WrestleMania is going to be there not in 2027.
In 2027, okay.
Yeah, they've already announced that.
Okay.
Yeah, they've already announced that. Wow. Yeah, 2 nights in 2027.
Right.
And that's where I don't agree with that because, like I said, that's taking money out of people's pockets. But I understand that TKO is a return on investment, and they want so in the end. But we're not talking TKO. We're talking the fans and their reaction.
Right.
Booing Triple H, it's a cool thing to do.
Right.
Chanting this is bullshit. No, because that kind of tarnished the moment. And then they go, thank you, Cena. Okay, we'll give you that. What shocked me though, no speech, no words on the mic from Cena.
No.
Tribute video, he bowed to the crowd and he left.
But this is the thing. Damn well Goldberg is at home headbutting everything and pissed off because his speech was shut down. They went off the air. Cena, they waited till he made it to the backstage before,
Goldberg was on network television, so if Goldberg was on Peacock, they probably would have stuck with it.
Yeah,
but
maybe
they didn't. I'm just surprised. I thought Cena would at least say something, and maybe he will. Maybe it's a post-show thing. He's gonna talk, but
the one thing, and I know it's not gonna happen because Cena's one of those guys that I do honestly believe when he said something, he absolutely means it. The last time he was at Raw, the last Raw, I firmly believe that is his last Raw. I wish it wasn't the case. I would love for us to have a Raw on Monday night with kind of like we did Ric Flair, bringing Cena out, let him give a speech, his spiel on Raw, and bringing out all of the wrestlers again to give him his final, hoorah. I don't think that's going to happen, but I wish that it would happen because I would like to hear
something. It could, because they have said it before. It's his last Raw in Boston and last Raw here, last Raw as an active performer. He's not an active performer anymore. He's retired.
True. Right.
He could come out to do the big celebration thing, and it's his last, because he's not an active performer anymore.
Right. And I do believe we're going to see him on a Raw and a SmackDown because he did sign a 5-year ambassador deal. He won't show up as a performer, but he'll show up in some other capacity.
Somehow, some way, we're going to get some sort of speech or something from Cena. Maybe it's at the post show. I don't know.
Right. Now
we're gonna get something.
Here's a question for you, right? And you're right. I don't think we're going to ever see Cena involved in the ring again. But Do you think there's a possibility later on down the road we may see him as some type of a storyline where he is either managing somebody because of the storyline where,
No.
oh, nope, you don't think even.
I don't think he'll even do that. I think if you see him, he'll come out, wave to the crowd, say hi, something, make a big announcement.
Right.
Maybe that. I don't see him being in a storyline or any type of active performance. I don't see it.
Right. Right. I'll be honest, grading the show.
Oh, you're freezing on me. Is it
Oh,
negative 45 in Minnesota?
well, it's much colder than that. Can you see me again?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see you.
Grading the show the way we like, we grade the shows. I would have given this show a solid A if it wasn't for Joe Hendry. Because of Joe Hendry, it's an A minus. That's how much you dislike.
I'm going to give it an A. I'm going to give it an A. Joe Hendry got a spotlight just like Saul, just like Javon and Leon, and just like Obafemi. Yeah. So I'm going to give it an A, I think, overall. And best match, obviously, was Cena and Gunther. Worst match for me was Cody and Oba just because of that finish. Second place for me is going to be the tag match. Third place is going to go with the girls.
Yep. Now, let's talk about what's next. What do you think? And let's go through each match. Let's talk about the NXT stars. Javon Evans, Leon Slater. What's next for those two? Obviously, Leon Slater is the ex-champion for TNA. Do you foresee him dropping that belt anytime soon and him coming to WWE? And Javon Evans, do you foresee him being brought up to the main roster sooner rather than later?
I see Javon Evans coming up after Mania. Leon Slater, not yet, because they're going over to that live on AMC deal.
Right.
So I think he's going to stay with them for that. I see Javon Evans maybe after Mania. I'm just afraid, though, with Javon, you're going to get what happened with Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes is so good. And then he came up and they put him on SmackDown, and The Miz, Friday night, he helped Dragunov after, the match with Ciampa, things like that. Carmelo was floundering right now. I hate it when they bring guys up from NXT.
I'm going to disagree a little bit. You're right. He was floundering, but I think that with them interjecting him into this whole storyline, what happened last night between Ciampa and Dragunov, and the reaction Melo got from that crowd, I think that we're going to start seeing him being put in bigger storylines going forward here.
I hope so.
I like Carmelo Hayes. I've always liked him. I think that he's possibly a one of the guys that's the future of WWE, future main eventers. I really, really do.
Carmelo? Well, yeah. He should be. But like I said, right now, but a lot of people have floundered. Miz kind of floundered around a bit and then, got the tag team with Morrison. And then, but then he became world champion. Now look at him. You can't criticize Miz's career. There's a Hall of Famer right there. He's going to be
absolutely. And by the way, I want to give props and flowers to Miz, not just for tonight, but for what he's been doing the past few years now with WWE. He's got to the point of his career that he is definitely putting people over more than he is being put over. And I think that it's because of how good he is that they trust him with the new talent. And I don't know, and I said this last night, I don't know what goes on backstage, obviously, but it seems to me that Miz is doing this without a chip on his shoulder, with a great attitude, and that he's happy to be a part of getting a lot of the future talent over in WWE right now. So bravo to him for doing this.
I agree. That's obviously been his thing. Now they've thrown in a tag because him and R-Truth were Awesome Truth. They had tag belts. Right. They throw him a bone every once in a while, but for the most part, no, I agree. He's there to elevate. He doesn't need to be a world champion again. He's already won everything.
Right.
Would he like to? Of course, who doesn't want to be the world champ? Well, but Miz and all that. But Javon, I definitely, even though I wasn't a fan of how this match ended, when you saw him in the ring with Cody, Obafemi has to be a main roster guy somewhere. That man just overshined the chance because Cody looks small. I mean, Cody's not a huge guy, but he looks small next to Obafemi. Obafemi is just, he's got the look, he's got the ability.
Height wise, I was shocked that Cody Rhodes looks like he's almost as tall as Oba. Muscular wise, build wise, no. I mean, Oba is so much bigger than Cody Rhodes. But that was my next question to you. What do you think is next for Oba? Do you see him dropping that NXT title anytime soon and being brought up to the main roster as soon as after WrestleMania? Or do you think it's still going to be a while yet? Because let's not forget that WrestleMania is kind of WWE's fiscal year. That's when you see right after right after WrestleMania, that's when you see people let go, and that's also when you see people being brought up to the main roster. Do you think Obafemi is going to be one of those people after WrestleMania being brought up?
Yes. Oba's a call-up. Javon Evans is a call-up. Saul Ruka has to be a call-up.
Right.
Oba versus Drew. Yeah, that was nice too. With him and Drew
right. I think in a way that may have been a test to see how fans reacted. But let me tell you, when Oba and Drew were standing face to face, they got a reaction for sure. Mm-hmm. Fans wanted to see that.
So yeah, but no, those are Oba, Javon, and Saul are definite call-ups. Saul Ruka's got to get in there with the main roster girls at some point in time, other than just Bayley. So
right. Now I want to ask you, and we're going to go back to SmackDown. You wasn't able to join us last night. I wish you would have, because I wanted to talk to you about this. Did you watch it by chance?
I did.
Okay, man, what was going on with Selena Vega last night? Because she definitely wasn't herself. I thought that's something else. Talking about AJ Styles, that what happened tonight. We're glad he was okay. Same thing with Vega last night, man. I was like, oh my gosh, she's dead. Thankfully she was okay. But that move that she botched with Rhea Ripley, man, that looked nasty. And that wasn't the only one. Vega seemed to be off last night for some reason. What do you think's going on?
I think part of the problem, and this is just me, she's so tiny. Zelina is such a little,
She is. Let's think about Rhea. But let's think about that match between Rhea and Xena in Puerto Rico. How that match was fire.
In Puerto Rico, where Zelina Vega is from, where she's going to be the hometown hero. Of course, I'm not dissing Zelina Vega's talent. Right. I'm saying she's small, so she's more liable to a botch thing or liable to make a mistake because of her size. Right. She's got the ability. Yeah, she was over in Puerto Rico, but yeah, that's where she's from. When she was back, when this whole thing about her father, who died 9/11, they've told that story. So when she went there, she was a hometown thing there too, where she was in tears when she came to the ring. Zelina is talented, but she's little. Mm-hmm. And Rhea, her husband, and Damian Priest, those are three sizable people. Now, granted, she's working with Rhea, but Rhea's tough. Rhea is a big, and I think part of the problem is Zelina's size. I think she's little, and when it comes to the high impact stuff, she can't do it. And I think last night kind of proved it. Maybe she should go and be just a manager. I don't know. Maybe she should be an in-ring thing. Unless it's against other girls on the smaller size. Because and I could be totally wrong. She could have just been off a step and missed that one, but she missed, like you said, there were a few botches in that match.
Right. And and I wish I thought to ask Robbie this. And Terry, if you're still in here, maybe you can answer this in the comment. When you have something like that happen, how much heat do you think they get backstage after the match by the people in charge, Triple H and whomever else?
I would not be able to answer that.
Yeah.
I would say in the case of if the match can continue, I think maybe you're okay. Hey, but if you fuck it up and it just fucks up the entire match, then you might, because you can only do so much with the magic of television. the magic of cameras. But like I said, I'm not a backstage, and I've never, I know a show I promoted. We had a guy who we did an intergender match because the woman he was wrestling she was Andrea the Giant. I don't know. You might have met her. She was a CAC. She goes to CAC every year. But she wrestled, and the guy botched a spot, and he ended up like potatoing her. I mean, she literally got, and we chastised him in the back because it didn't look. And she told him that you do that again, and there's going to be a receipt. You ain't gonna lie, because we had to, because the fans even noticed it. It was bad. And I'm just a rinky-dink, little indie promoter in California. I didn't have it, but we had to tell him, dude, oh man, sorry. He just kind of brushed it off, but it was like, dude, it looked bad. And if you can't cover your shit, if you can't cover up yourself,
Right. Terry says if you cover, you're okay, but if it ruins the show,
there we go. Yeah. And in my guy's case, he couldn't cover it. It looked bad. She took over, finished it, match over. But and she ended it real quick. She said, we're going home, we're done. But, because it was bad.
Last question of the night. Out of all of these matches, do you think any of them has the potential to be something that we see again, except on the main roster, be the Raw or SmackDown?
What we saw tonight?
Yeah,
well, obviously Cena versus Gunther, no.
Besides that, obviously, but Oba versus Cody, or Bailey versus Sol Ruca, or Sol Ruca, I'm sorry, or AJ Styles, Drake Lee versus Javon Evans and Leon Slayer. For myself, I think the one that we have the most potential to see a rematch on the main roster would be Bailey and Sol Ruca.
That one possibly. The other thing I could see, not a rematch, but to further the storyline of Cody and Drew, somebody interfered with Cody on Drew's side.
Right.
Cody's got to get a tag team partner, and I could see maybe Cody and Oba versus Drew and somebody in a tag match. I could see Oba being his, surprise partner or something like that. I don't see a rematch, but I could see Oba family maybe being part of that story just to kind of finish up the stupidity they did tonight.
Where are you at with this Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre thing? Because I'm going to be honest with you, right?
I'm bored as hell.
I like I like Cody and I like Drew. I am over this feud with these two, though. I really am. Where are you at with it?
I'm bored as hell. It was done when Cody beat him, at the PLE, whatever. It should have been done, but they keep continuing it. I don't think it should have been a part of this. There shouldn't have been any interference in any matches. Just let them be one-on-one. Get a winner, there shouldn't have been interference in this.
Originally, in the podcast, I said I didn't mind that ending just because it protected both of them. But the more I thought about it after talking through this, the more I agree with you, because if we are talking about tonight was very much supposed to kind of mirror John Cena's very first appearance on WWE with the Raw aggression, with someone new wanting it, right? This is what Saturday Night Main Event was supposed to be about tonight. The younger people, NXT, wanting it. And by having that interference, you're actually right. Thinking about it now, you threw off what, at least in that match, what tonight was supposed to be about.
Yeah, there shouldn't have been interference. My son, when we were watching Gunther and John Cena, he goes, what, Dad, it is Triple H. It is Triple H. Someone comes out and interfere. I said, no. I said, no one is going to come out and interfere in John Cena's final match. This is going to be a one-on-one. There will be, it is Triple H. It is Triple H. I'm like, yeah, but Triple H has won 18,000 people to riot.
Right.
And if there was interference in that match, holy shit.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I get it. How long? Obviously, I know you don't know this answer, but how long is it going to be before you think we see a John Cena making an appearance in WWE for whatever reason? I myself will also give that answer. So when I ask that, I would say at one of their next anniversary shows.
I'm gonna say, because they need a headliner, I'm gonna say April in Las Vegas, because I think that's when they're gonna put him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
Stephanie McMahon is not going to be the headliner of the Hall of Fame.
Right.
I honestly think after this year,
Oh,
I think
Michelle
this is,
McCool.
huh?
Michelle McCool is gonna be the headliner.
You know, after this run, this is the final thing. I think that's the icing on the cake. That's the cherry on the top of the sundae. Is John Cena's Hall of Fame appearance. So I think that'll be his next when they make the announcement. And it's not just going to be a we induct John Cena into the, no, that's not going to be it. He'll show up to do like something to hype for WrestleMania, and then somebody's going to go while you're here, or it's going to be on an interview thing he does. But I was hoping Brock would come out. No.
Yeah.
Brock was my favorite part of the video, though, with all the fans. I can't see you. Brock was my favorite because he's like, yeah, okay, I respect him, but I still got to be Brock Lesnar. I can't see you.
One other thing before I wrap this up is about AEW. I read today that is being strongly rumored that MJF will be making his appearance, coming back to the company this coming Wednesday on Dynamite.
Yeah, I was hearing that too. And unfortunately, I also found out because I didn't see Collision. I forgot it was on this afternoon. But I predicted.
I'm going to watch it because Mark, my original co-host, he sent me a message saying, "Man, you've got to watch Collision because Kevin Knight against Speedball Mike Bailey, they face each other in Collision."
Oh.
So he said that was just one hell of a match. So I'm going to be watching it just
because of this match. Can I give one spoiler to you though?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was right. At World's End, 3-way match, Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah, I mean
they're doing it again.
Right.
I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. And I also believe that Joe's gonna drop it to Hangman Adam Page again. And we're going to once again see another feud between Hangman and Swerve Strickland. And that's another one that, you know what? I enjoyed it. Let it be done, though. Let it be done.
Yeah. My son was excited. He's like, Dad, that's going to be fire. That's going to be a great match. I'm like, son, we've already seen it. Right. What do you mean we've already seen it? I said, go look. He goes, oh, it was last year at Revolution. Uh-huh.
Man, look, don't be that dad. Don't be that dad for your kid and kill it. I used to watch wrestling with my dad, and my dad liked it, but every Saturday we'd watch it. He'd sit in his recliner, and every Saturday I would hear, And I look back, and every single Saturday I heard this. Boy, if you hit a man that many times and you don't knock him out or take him out the fight, it's time to run away. That's ridiculous. I'm like, stop.
Well, you gotta suspend. I'm not that dad. No, that's not me, at least. What's funny, and I'll tell you, this is kind of a funny story. He watched Javon and Oba on NXT Tuesday night because Javon turned in his Iron Survivor Challenge thing.
Yeah.
Ricky Sainz interfered. My son does not like Ricky Sainz. My son did not like the ending of the match. My son texts me and he goes, "It's your fault. I had to watch this poop." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "I didn't need to see a Ricky. I've been watching for 14 years to see a Ricky Sainz interference." I'm like, how is this my fault? And he wrote back, "You birthed me into watching this. You named me after it." I'm like, okay, I guess I'll give you that. Yeah, I guess. Ever since he was like a little baby, there's pictures of me sitting here watching wrestling on TV. Got him in my arm. He just kind of sitting there staring at it with me. I named him after Owen Hart and things like that. So that was my son's nail. I mean, you birthed me into watching this.
Yeah, you know what? I like Ricky Starks with AEW. I just don't like Ricky Sainz.
I hate the name.
Yeah, I do too. And it's sad, but it's little small things like that can turn you away from getting invested in someone. It really is. I mean, a perfect example is the War Raiders, right? Mm-hmm. I love their vignettes. And you know what I can't remember his name, the bigger guy that cuts the moonsault from the top rope as big as he is, he should be able to do something like that. But he
That's
does, and it's awesome.
Ivar.
But because of the name and their attire, it turns me off about him. Completely turns me off. It's little things that will turn you off about someone.
Well, at least you're not the Viking experience or whatever it was. They were the Disneyland ride.
Yeah, that's Vince McMahon's brilliant.
And I'm not gonna say anything bad because I've been in a building with both those guys. So I've actually worked on a couple shows with Ray Rowe, who Eric.
Well, again, I'm not saying that they're bad. My point is, it's little things like a name or the attire, something that will turn you away from someone that are a tag team that really should be invested in. That's why those things are so important in professional wrestling, in my opinion, anyway.
Oh, I agree. Like I said, Gunther, he was originally like Gunther Stark or something, but they found out he was like a German U-boat captain who did some bad shit, so they just went with Gunther.
I keep on saying this is my last thing. We'll close out. This really is my last thing before we close out, because you brought something up and it made me think about something. Do you think that if Gunther was still the big Gunther before he lost all that weight, do you think that he would be in the position he is in right now on the main roster?
I don't think so. I'll be honest with you. I think at the size he would be an attraction wrestler, a la Big Show, Omos, that type of thing. I think he would have been an attraction because of his size. I don't think he would have been. I don't think he would have been what he is. I think coming in with the streamline. And the thing is, though, is he came in, he lost weight, but his chops became more brutal. He lost weight and got.
Why? He could swing that arm faster.
Yeah, there you go.
My friends at Huge Pop Wrestling, man, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. It says the ending to the PLE, in his opinion, was not good. By the way, man, I hope you changed your password. Let me know when you do so I can add you back. So, funny story, I got the host, I got a crazy DM from him, and I realized it wasn't from him. Apparently, his Facebook page got hacked, so I had to block him, and then I sent a message to his co-host saying, hey, let him know that this is why I blocked him. He needs to change. So let me know if you change that password, man, so I can add you back. So, man, I've been getting a lot of people, social media pages has been getting hacked again. And I've been getting some.
I got hacked like 2 years ago before I could even like let Facebook know it wasn't me.
Right.
He had already removed the page. So I lost all my photos that I had up there from like people at CAC, all that, because I had all these albums. I had like 5 or 6 albums from like the different CAC reunions each year. Lost all of them before I could even tell Facebook it wasn't me. They cleared me out, and it was somewhere in Toronto, Canada. They literally removed any remnant of my page.
Well, it's got to the point now that I actually, before I even opened up the DMs, I mean, there's a way I can actually kind of see what it is or talk about before I open it to make sure. Because I'm thinking about it. I say it was his that got hacked. Maybe it was mine that got hacked, and I got some DM, because that happens as well. Because I actually went in and changed my password as well, because it was happening so often here, a month ago. I'm like, what the fuck? It's aggravating. And I do not want to lose anything on my Facebook page because a lot of my contacts are there as well. So
with Austin, JBL, Trish Stratus, Rob Van Dam, Edge, Beth Phoenix, just tons of photos from CAC. Gone. No, nothing. Because that was where I saved them, was on Facebook. I didn't think, and I had it for years. And just this one time, somebody hacked it somehow, and I got fucked.
Yeah. Huge Pop Russ, you said, you say you can do. I'll add you back then. Like I said, I've changed my password as well, just in case it was on my end. Matter of fact, the laptop that I do the podcast on, this laptop is only used for the podcast. I don't go any other site. I don't Google nothing because of just how bad viruses has gotten today. And shit's expensive. But anyway, guys, Thanks for joining us again. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my interview from earlier today with Arcangela. She is an ECW original. It's an incredible interview I did with her. She is a remarkable woman. She truly is. Don't forget to check us out on ECUSA, a.k.a, as she calls it. I guess it's called a.k.a, not ECUSA. She corrected me today. You can find us on, go to Roku, Fire, your Fire Stick, or any other device you use to stream on, and just search out ECUSA, a.k.a. You'll find it. Download it. It's free. And you can catch our podcast on there as well. And we are on demand on a.k.a. as well. So check us out. I have Joe Malenko coming on the podcast, I think Monday, if not mistaken. I'm excited about that. Grizzled Vet, any other thing happening on Rasslin Memories?
I'm going to be honest with you. Rasslin Memories this week, I do not believe will be airing due to the fact of it's like negative ass cold in Minnesota. Yeah. So we were unable to record this weekend. So I'm not sure what will be airing on there. You can find Rasslin Memories on SoundCloud, and you can see all 8 years, or actually no, more than 8 years, about 12 years worth of archived interviews from the beginning of the show up until now. Like I said, I joined in 2018, so I'm going on 8 years in January. So you can find us on there. Next week, we will be having Bob Smith on Talk Dark Side of the Ring. You can also go to our SoundCloud archive, look for Rasslin Memories, Robbie Idol. Listen to the great interview we did with Robbie. He's going to be coming back in the near future for a second interview. And we are going to have you on after the first of the year to talk about your upcoming event that you're working on. So you've asked to come on and talk about that. And since technically you are a local boy.
Yeah, and actually that event had to be canceled.
Oh no!
Well, so I have a spinal cord injury, and
change what I said, folks. I did not know this.
I got some bad news. I'm right now having to go through physical therapy, hoping I don't have to go through surgery. So because of that, we had to cancel it, but hopefully we'll get something going again. But Grizzled Vet, he's gonna be interviewed on Get Your Bell Rung Pro Wrestling Podcast as well, sometimes in January. You have a very, very interesting background, and pick the brain of the guy who helps me co-host the show.
It'll be the first time I've been in the interview where I can kind of talk about what I've done in my history and kind of things like that. So I'm looking forward to it. I wanted you to be the first because, as I said, I am booked to be on Carmella's Wrestling Radio Rewind in February. She's also available on YouTube, so I will be a guest on there. But I wanted you to be the first one. Because I think you and I can have a fun conversation.
Absolutely. You talked about, this week being, Rasslin Memories getting canceled because of a cold list here in Minnesota where I'm at as well. Do you know Minnesota gets colder than Mars itself at times?
I'll call it good. Thanks. I'll stay here. We're dipping down into the 30s and 40s and 30s this weekend for a few days. I'll call it
remember,
good.
I'm
on the positive side.
I am a Southern guy, man. I'm from Louisiana, and after being here for 22 years, this shit still just kills me. I hate the cold at times. Anyway, subscribe to the podcast, guys. We will be back, like I said, for an interview, Joe Malenko, on Monday. And then Tuesday, we will be doing a recap of Monday Night Raw. Will there be anything for Saturday Night Main Event that bled into Raw? Find out what we thought about it by hitting subscribe. And
of course, I'll be back on Thursday.
Yep, you'll be back on Thursday to discuss Wednesday Dynamite. Until then,
my daughter's 16th birthday, by the way, so we're gonna have to do something a little special for her that night.
No, tell her happy birthday. Absolutely, we'll do something. You guys have a great rest of your weekend, and we will see you guys back here on Monday.